What's up, Claymakers? Peter from Clay here. Bit under the weather, but the show must go on because it's product roundup time. Here's 5 mighty releases coming your way. We have TrustRadius, an Ocean.io update, AI search for the enrichment panel, AI image generation, and LiveData. Let's dive in. Our highlight this week is TrustRadius. TrustRadius offers buyers vetted reviews from real users. For us, this means we get real-time intent signals. Who's researching solutions like yours? Are they researching your competitors? These signals can drive your ABM campaigns, inbound lead scoring, and just-in-time sales and CX outreach. Check it out.
We'll begin by adding TrustRadius as a source and start defining our search criteria. Let's choose our category of interest so we can see any companies who've been actively researching products in this space. We can filter for specific intent actions taken by this company as shown here. And we can narrow down the time frame size and revenue of the company that performed this action. Let's import this search into our table. After mapping out this data, we're left with a table filled with relevant companies who performed a specific action on a specific date that we can now use to trigger outreach or push to any of your favorite workflows that you already use. When it comes to using TrustRadius's action, a simple use case could be upgrading your inbound forms and meeting preparation. In this case, I have a form that I'm collecting responses of where I have their name, their email, and what company they work for. We can then grab their company domain from the email using a formula. And here is where TrustRadius comes into play. We're using this action to check if the domain or anyone with an email from that domain has been researching products in the CRM category. If an activity or buying intent activity is found, we return it in this column. TrustRadius also gives us the exact page that this person looked at with like additional pricing and competitors. Finally, we can summarize this intent activity and page using an AI column and push it directly to the rep who is taking this lead's call.
Next up is an Ocean.io update. We've had company lookalikes, now you get people lookalikes. This feature lets you easily find similar people based on a list you want to expand. Instead of starting with a very broad list and having to whittle it down with all these filters, you can start with a specific list of people. So upload your highest converting champions. Maybe your email or survey responders get fed into a lookalike branch. Or search for lookalikes from your event attendees. Let's see it in action.
In this flow, we are collecting a bunch of emails from people who have booked a demo with us. We use their email to search for a LinkedIn profile. If one is found, we then use this new integration with Ocean.io to look for lookalike contacts. So in this case, we can see that we're just inputting the LinkedIn profile, and there are many, many other filters that we could be using, but are not for demonstration purposes. What we end up with is a list of people who closely resemble the people who booked a demo. We can then pass these contacts into another table where we score them based on things like company and job title. And if they're a good fit, we can drop them straight into another outbound sequence.
With AI semantic search, you can now use natural language, just, regular English, in the enrichment panel. You no longer have to know exact keywords or integration names. When I first started working at Clay, I asked Patrick Spichowski how I should go about learning Clay. He said it would help to sit down and read through all 70 at the time integrations and what they do. You no longer have to do that. You can type in plain English what you're looking for, and we'll query the enrichment descriptions, integration metadata, and output schemas to suggest the most relevant integrations and features for you.
Let's say I'm just starting with a bunch of URLs and I want to figure out what company this person works at. Instead of guessing which integration would be the best fit or trying to sift through this enrichment panel, I can simply type that question into the search bar and I'll now receive recommendations on what to use. And as more data points load into this table, I can simply continue to ask these questions, such as, does this company run paid ads? And without me knowing if Clay has a data provider that would return this answer, I get recommendations on what to use and answer that specific question.
AI image generation is now live in Clay, allowing you to create images at scale across thousands of rows. The low-hanging fruit is going to be, take profile pictures and then make them Clay, make them Studio Ghibli. 5 points to Gryffindor for whoever comments who this person is. But there's more here. There's also tech stack visualizations, diagrams, personalized product mockups, and branded outreach materials. Prompting is going to be really big here, so I'm excited to dig in and steal your prompts. Please share your prompts.
Being able to generate images in Clay unlocks a lot of fun creative use cases. Let's take someone's LinkedIn profile image and let's make a claymation version of that we can use in outbound. We can use it in our product. We can use it in many different spots. Let's click use AI, then choose our use case, which is image generation. I'm going to prompt this and say, use the reference image and create a claymation version of this. And I'm then going to select the column containing the reference image here, and I'm going to save and run this column. Checking out all of these claymation profile pictures as they populate, it's fun to imagine where we can then deploy and use these in and around our product.
Finally, we've added LiveData Technologies as an integration, which gives you a more flexible way to find professional profiles. The key unlock here is that you can now look up these professional social URLs without the need for an email address. You can include an email address, but unlike most profile finders, you actually don't need a work or personal email here. You can triangulate with lots of other points.
Let's say you have a list of people and you don't necessarily have their email, but you're trying to find their professional profile. We can use LiveData's integration, which can be found in the enrichment panel and various waterfalls. The differentiator with LiveData is that it allows us to add a ton of context outside of just their email and or LinkedIn profile to get information about them. So in this case, we're able to input everything from their work email, full name, company name, and so many other sources that allow us to really widen the search. And in this case, we can see we have a match and we get a bunch of information about Alex. We get his professional profile, connection data, his education, his position, and we can always map this into its own column and continue to enrich further.
That's it for this week's product roundup. Go to support@clay.com with any questions. I'm Peter from Clay. This has been Product Roundup. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.